What did a school teacher say that stuck with you? Have I been respectful to you? Me? Well, yeah, are you being respectful to me? Simple words. They have guided me so much. I had a teacher say the same thing to me. Now I ref college and high school basketball and use this line whenever coaches start cursing me out on the sidelines. Does a good job of reminding them that kids are playing. It's okay, you can smile. This was first thing our middle school music teacher, who we all loved, said on his first day back after his wife, an art teacher many of us had in elementary, was killed in a car accident. He made music class a lot of fun, and we'd missed him in the week he took off after his wife's death. He was used to coming into a room full of smiling faces, ready for another fun hour of class. We were all sitting utterly silent, fixed on him with what I'm sure were the most somber little faces he'd ever seen. He smiled at us after he said it, and we all smiled back, and he thanked us for it. God, that hurt. Ended every class with "You're good people." My algebra teacher ends every class with "Have a good day, be nice to people." Such a small thing, but it's sweet. Exactly. No matter how good at math you are, being kind to people is something you can at least do. My teacher told me that I had a beautiful soul and mind, which I took as meaning that I was fugly and was being pitied, but later on realized that it was her way of showing me special attention because I was an introverted loner. One day in 7th grade, our principal came into the homeroom class and wrote on the board $19, 32 in big numbers. He got our attention and announced to the class, "This pointing at the number is what you are worth. Every day you come to class, the school gets $19, 32 from the state for each of you. So if you are sick, you should still come to class, go to the nurse, and get sent home. That way the school will still get its $19, 32. That was the day I stopped caring about school. I'm pretty sure he was trying to increase attendance and believed what he said was positive. But when a person you're supposed to respect tells you you're worth less than a $20 bill. I know what it is to be young, but you don't know what it is to be old. I don't know why and how it came up, but our English teacher asked me if I understand that. It was the first year, and I was 10, and I definitely did not understand. But it somehow stuck in my mind as the sound of the sentence, until I could decipher the memory in retrospect. As my dad said, I have been 17, you haven't been 50, and my brain still thinks I'm 18. Getting old sucks, but it's better than the alternative. I once asked my teacher something about the subject, and she said, "I don't know, but I'll do some research and get back to you tomorrow." I'm studying to be a teacher's, and one of my teachers told us there is no shame in admitting to your students that you don't know something. However, you should look it up to answer it next time you see them, and be prepared for the next time you get asked that. First day of science class. Many of the topics I will be teaching you this year will likely be proven false throughout your life. I love teachers that are honest with students. Simply saying something like "you'll never need to know this, but it's part of the exam, so we have to" is so much more likely to get me to learn something than just saying it's important. Sounds like an ace teacher. You're a spoon in a knife block. When asked why most of my friends were high achievers and I was only average. Ever tried to eat ice cream with a knife? You're useful in your own way, bro, keep it up. Edit. Typo. I think that's low-key what the professor was getting at. I hope so, at least. School isn't about being smart. It's about being really good at playing a particular type of game. It's honestly a fantastic analogy. You can cut stuff with a spoon. It just requires more effort. Once you're an adult, you choose your own fate. Your mom won't control you anymore. This came from a 9th grade Algebra 1 teacher who took the time to tutor me. My mom was / is a anti-vaxxing, cult following nutbag who didn't think school was important because Armageddon is coming. I was terrible at math until I met him. It's been 25 years and I think of this teacher still. I'm grateful. Don't talk to mom anymore. She got tired of me asking where Armageddon was. Send him a letter if you can. Teachers like marking your homework as much as you like doing homework. Why I don't assign it anymore. More than half the kids don't do it, the rest copy it, and about 3 smart kids do it themselves, and they don't really need to. Be friends with several of my old teachers. I once wrote about how I had the recurring nightmare of being in my chemistry teacher's class and having to take an exam, but not having studied for it. He replied saying that his recurring nightmare is my being in his class. You have unlimited potential when you know how to find the first step. Just get a ducking haircut. I kept complaining during PE that my hair was in my face. This was one of those teachers that felt more like one of the boys than the teacher. Blew my mind hearing him swear. We had a teacher like that who thought he was one of the boys. He ended up getting an ex-student pregnant once she left. He was in his late 50s while she was 19. My geometry teacher was super chill. He taught us to play poker and blackjack. On the last day of school he said, "Remember, if you ever need anything or have any questions while you're at this school, there are about 50 other teachers you should go to before you come to me." Edit. Apparently all y'all's geometry teachers are either hooking up with another teacher or taught y'all how to gamble. My geometry teacher was too busy getting poked by my history teacher to care about us. I went from honors to support. He said with rage, "You used to be one of the good ones." A teacher said this to me, but instead he said with a tinge of sadness. I took Latin all 4 years of high school. I quickly realized I despised the language, but I stuck with it for the teacher himself. He alone was worth it. Our Latin class was right above the hallway with classrooms for special needs kids. One day, after it was apparent nobody did their homework, my teacher stopped class and said, "You're all taking what you have for granted, and it's inexcusable. There are several dozen kids in the hallway below you who wish they had the mental faculties to do homework." I did my Latin homework regularly after he said that. Edit. Holy shit, this blew up. I deleted Reddit for 2 days and came back to over 7k karma. Thank you for the silver, kind stranger. After being caught smoking pot in high school 1986, my science teacher, "Hi Mr. Fishbean," said to me, "There is a time and place for everything. This is not the time, nor the place." He did not report me to administration. He was a great teacher. Professor Oak said the same thing when I tried to fish in the Pokemon Center. In French class in high school over 20 years ago, part of the lesson was going over some sentences in French. She pointed one out in particular. I go to school on the bus. My horrible attempt at typing it was something like "Je viens à l'école en bus." I understand I've probably triggered people who speak French. I apologize. I remember vividly the teacher saying, "For some reason, this is the only French any of my students ever remember after they're done with this class." Here I am, 2+ decades, removed from that class in the 90s, and that's the only French I remember. A good mathematician is a lazy mathematician. As the lazier they are, the more time and effort they put into finding the easiest solution. Laziness is the driving force behind all innovation. Hard work only makes you tired. Had a history teacher who told me that everything is relative. You can only be poor if someone next to you is rich. You're only stupid if someone next to you is smart. It helps to put things into perspective and realize how superficial a lot of things are in life. That being said, he also randomly told me that wolves are bad as dogs that don't give a shit when we were not talking about wolves or dogs in class, so who knows what was really going on in his head. My Apuro teacher told us Germany is unimportant. This was meant as a to this specific discussion remark, but we all brought it up for the rest of the year, seeing as Germany comes up in just about every unit of Apuro. I think the point at which he said this was while we were talking about the Renaissance in Italy, and someone mentioned something about Germany. One time one of my elective classes was just kind of chilling out the day before winter break, and the teacher decided to arrange all our desks in a circle. He had everyone anonymously write something that was troubling them at the moment, and he would go through and give some advice. I wrote about my parents' constant fighting and how I feared their inevitable divorce and the possibility of moving across country with my mother. I wish I could remember what he said, but I vividly remember almost crying because what he said hit so hard that I kept it together. Less than a month later, both things happened. LMAO. They may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Damn, that's a really underrated comment. Being wise is better than being smart. I held on to that right up till receiving my PhD. Now that I'm entrenched in the corporate world of merciless exploitation, I've realized being smart about life is really a subset of being wise.